Hello, my name is John CABRAL, and I'll be your host for tonight's edition of Corsair Classics, featuring UMass Dartmouth's dramatic overtime homecoming victory over Framingham State on October the 1st, 2016. During tonight's rebroadcast, I'll be joined by members of the Corsair coaching staff, head coach Mark ROBICHAUD, associate head coach and defensive coordinator Steve FANIEL, offensive coordinator Josh SYLVESTER, and special teams coordinator Ryan Struthers, as they reflect on the thrilling victory through commentary and analysis. UMass Dartmouth and Framingham State are meeting on the gridiron for the 15th time, with the series all tied at 7-7. The Corsairs won their first 5 meetings with the Rams in Dartmouth and hold a 5-1 advantage at home. The Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference began sponsoring the sport of football prior to the 2013 season, when UMass Dartmouth joined as an affiliate member. Framingham State quickly established itself as the perennial power in the conference, capturing 3 MASCAC championships and boasting a 26-game conference winning streak. The Corsairs posted an 0-3 record in the conference circuit against the Rams, but UMass Dartmouth has always battled the Rams close. The Corsairs entered halftime either leading or tied in 2 of the 3 previous contests. As we turn back the clocks to 2016, let me welcome in the head coach of the Corsairs, Mark ROBICHAUD. Mark, thank you for joining us. I know this is a game you and your team remember quite well. That was a busy homecoming Saturday in 2016. Framingham State was scheduled as the nightcap of a triple header on Cressy Field. Can you talk about the emotion of playing in front of a homecoming crowd?
Thanks, John. Playing on homecoming is always special. We always have a lot of our past alumni come in, and it's fun seeing them, before the game and after the game. And we always have great crowds and a good opponent. So, every year homecoming is definitely a special occasion.
What was the mindset of the team headed into this conference rivalry?
In our conference for years, but we had a great team back in 16. We just had so many good players. Our offensive line, our running backs, quarterbacks, the kids we had on defense with Marvy, and the names could go on. And they were very confident. We had a lot of seniors. We were confident in ourselves, and we were really looking forward to this game. 2-2 going into this contest, and came off a tough loss at Plymouth, but they were ready to go. The kids were fired up. And, Steve and Josh and Ryan do a great job, getting them prepared. So we were excited.
Let's get into the action from homecoming 2016. UMass Dartmouth won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. Let's take a quick look at the Corsairs' defensive starting lineup. We're going to pick up the action with Framingham State's opening drive. The Rams had converted a 3rd down pass to set up the visitors in Corsair territory.
Yard line, he rips off a gain of 5. Be 2nd down and 5 now for Framingham. Brandon Miller there to make the stop defensively for the Corsairs.
And this is the thing about allowing those 3rd and longs, is all of a sudden you set your opponent up to play the type of game they want to play. All of a sudden, no field position problems, no down and distance problems. They're at the 40 going in, and they can run whatever they want. So despite those 2 good plays to get it started, you've got your back against the wall already just 2 minutes in.
This is the jet sweep, and UMass Dartmouth reads it wonderfully. Anthony LaRose there to make the stop on the ball carrier, Will Cadre. And we have a flag down here at the 43-yard line as well.
Flag coming out wider than you normally see it on a running play. It's out by the numbers. Usually if it's a holding penalty, it's in there between the tackles. Maybe a block in the back out in this neighborhood. Officials are mic'd up, as you heard, but they're still conferring.
Block in the back, offense, number 67. That penalty's declined. Holding, offense, number 57. Penalties accepted, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So there's one of each called there, a block in the back and a holding, and the Corsairs decline the block in the back because that actually saves them a couple extra yards. That penalty is 10 from the spot of the foul, so that would have given them credit for all the yards they gained and then moved it back, where holding is just straight from the line of scrimmage 10. So a good call there by the UMass Dartmouth sideline. And Coach ROBICHAUD is that's going to move it all the way back to midfield.
2nd down and 15 now for Zach Walker. quarterback for Framingham State. 3 to the top of your screen, 1 to the near side. Walker's got time, throws it out there to the right. It's caught down inside the 40-yard line. Scott Tupper back there in coverage. Smith on the reception. They're going to mark him down at the 39-yard line.
It's a pretty generous spot as it gives him all the penalty yardage back +1. So despite the fact that they were backed up, now all of a sudden you're looking at just 3rd and 4. And there was a flag on the field, but it was actually just one referee throwing it to another. So not an actual penalty on the play if you saw it on the laundry.
Walker, a little screen here to the near side. It's completed. That's Miller, and Miller's taken down at the 35-yard line. That's going to be very close to the first down they were looking for.
Yeah, and that's just one of those pick plays over on the Framingham side. As Stephen Bean, you can see him throw the block as the pass is being thrown, number 24, the interior receiver, and that's why you don't see an opponent. Sometimes it gets flagged, sometimes it doesn't. You roll the dice. Framingham has it come up aces right there, and so they're still moving.
4th and less than a yard. Framingham will go for it. And they hand it off to the lone running back, and I don't think that he made it. That was Dominic Cassell, and I think Johnny's a yard short. I don't think he made it.
Coach, how are the Corsairs successful in penetrating the offensive line and stuffing the run play?
Across a 4th and 1, I think the main thing is to watch the ball. You know, there's nothing worse than giving up a first down on offsides because you're not disciplined. So, you know, we're screaming, watch the ball from the sideline. The kids are screaming, watch the ball to each other. We want to make them earn it and not give them anything. And then next, we just talk about pad level, you know, staying low, trying to get some penetration there, and then running our feet on contacts. You know, nothing worse than hitting them in the backfield and then him slipping and falling forward for the first down. So we want to get as many hats to the ball. We want to push them back. We want to run our feet on contact and finish the play.
What did that 4th down stand do for the confidence of the defense?
I think, you know, we're a pretty confident group, especially that year. We had a lot of older kids. So, you know, we talk about staying even keel, you know, and not making mistakes and making them earn everything they get. But I think more importantly about the 4th down stand is getting the ball back to the offense. You know, if you were there that night and you seen that game, you know, you could tell that we were moving really fast. We were a tempo team. So we want to get as many possessions to the offense as physically possible in that game. And we want to, you know, make that game, basically we call it a 5th quarter. And we want to get them as many possessions so they can run as many plays as they can. And so turnovers are a big deal for that.
And the Corsairs on offense quickly moved the ball down the field, sandwiching a pair of zone runs between a completion.
On offense, you're not going to have time to go get a soda or a bag of chips. They run the ball, and when they get back to the line of scrimmage, they run it again. And you have to watch him. Here's Burnham off the ball fake, and Corey's got himself a big gainer. He's got a 17-yard gain and a first down. First play from the line of scrimmage from UMass Dartmouth. This is a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if this was intentional or an accident, and they probably won't tell us the truth, but Sheridan certainly looked like he was supposed to take the ball there, and Burnham makes either a late decision or a very good fake.
Here's Stephen Roy, his first carry of the game. He gets down to the 41-yard line.
Well, you called it, Jim. They're going to go up tempo here. They want to get a personnel package on the field that they can attack for Framingham, and they think they've got it right away.
That was a gain of 6. Now Burnham's going to throw, and it's caught. Picked up beautifully by Bambos. Beautiful catch. He stretched out. Another first down for UMass Dartmouth.
It's maybe the most forceful play action fake I've ever seen. They really made that look like they were going to run.
And Burnham's got the football, and Corey's got himself a first down and more as he rips off a run of 14 and another UMass Dartmouth first down.
All right, so maybe it wasn't an accident on that first play then, Jim, because he has really oversold the fakes 3 times now. They must have gotten something in their scouting that led them to believe that that would be effective for them, and now a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start,
So
offense, number
UMass
75,
Dartmouth,
5-yard
false start.
penalty, still first down.
One of the issues with UMass Dartmouth, John, on this very young season, they're averaging 147 yards a game being penalized. That's an awful lot.
Right, which tells you not only are they having a lot thrown against them, but they're getting not just the nickel and dime ones, but the 10s and 15s.
Burnham, ball fake, throws, incomplete. Bambos was the intended receiver. Bartolo in the secondary was the defender. So it'll bring up second down now and 15 yards to go for UMass Dartmouth.
The thing to keep in mind with this long distance is that you are in field goal range if you can shorten it up a little bit.
Here's Stephen Roy looking for running room. Roy's got room. Stephen Roy down and in for a UMass Dartmouth touchdown. Stephen Roy gets the Corsairs on the board as they take the opening possession against the #1 team in the conference, John, and knock it home for 6.
Well, Roy had to score that one 12 on 11. The umpire didn't do him any favors. Stood in there, and the umpire almost makes the tackle on that play. Take another look at this here. He runs into the umpire and has to shoo him away in order to approach those final 5 yards. Terrific job by Stephen Roy, undaunted to hit Bader.
Coach, what did you see in your scout that showed you UMass Dartmouth could put pressure on the Rams with the RPO?
So we were, we had to be like 70% in RPO team, so that was kind of our base offense. But the year before, in 2015, was our first year kind of playing with the 2 backs and really kind of getting comfortable with it. And we felt like we had a lot of success against them at their place, which was also a close game. But we just didn't finish our blocks. So going into the game, we didn't lose a single player, I don't believe, from the offensive side that I can remember. So returning all those starters back, we knew we'd have success on the ground. And it's funny because that week was a disaster in terms of weather. Like, I don't even know. I remember trying to practice. And in case you don't know anything, whenever we have to use composite balls, I complain. And then usually Struthers complains. And then coach gets pissed because we're complaining. And the quarterbacks just complain because you can't throw a composite ball. I don't know what they are, but you can't throw them. So at first we were going to try to test them because we thought that we had an opportunity, especially with Abby and Beardsley and Walsh, with a lot of guys that can make plays. But then as we saw the weather, we were like, hey, we're going to have to really bunker down and pound the football. And I think that's really where the game plan came from. It's really important to us all together. I think this 2016 game, which is crazy, is it's set in motion like our strategies that we exist today. Like everything that we do now, like we tend to take the ball first on offense now because we just feel like it's very important to go. We feel like as much as you can talk about that we play with tempo, it's almost impossible to practice against. So one of the things that like Stevie would always say when we go on camp is teams can say, oh, they're going to go fast. But until you see it and you realize how fast it is, you kind of have a competitive advantage in the beginning. So we want to have that moment occur as much as possible. And we scored on a ton of opening drives that season just because of them getting adjusted. So we kind of snuck up on them even though they knew it was coming. And against that game, home crowd, homecoming, we had not performed well the week before, like Coach said, and we just wanted to set the tone. The defense came out and got a 4th and 1, which was great. We feed off of their energy. I think we feed off of all 3 phases of the game's energy, and by putting in, I think gave us a good start. And the last thing I'll say is we've never gone that fast ever. Our kids had like this moment of like playing Plymouth kind of puts you into a disastrous situation where you don't get any plays. So they were ready and came out really fast. I think that played in that first drive.
Take the football and march it 60 yards downfield for the opening score of the game. They lead it by a score of 6-0, and this is Wright. And Wright's got running room as he gets across the 35, still on his feet. And the ball is out. And UMass Dartmouth is claiming they have it.
The officials have yet to indicate if there was a fumble or not. And they're spotting the ball, but they've yet to indicate one way or the other now. They're saying UMass Dartmouth ball. So big return there by Wright, Jimmy, and he was actually the MassCAC Special Teams Player of the Week last week. So you see what he can do with the ball in his hands, but does he hang on to it going to the ground becomes the question. No, that ball certainly would appear to be out before his arms are on the ground. Tough to tell with that left knee, but these plays are not subject to replay review at this level. So it is course.
Now for the really big plays. After that touchdown, UMass Dartmouth forces a fumble on the ensuing kickoff, setting the Corsairs up on Framingham's 38. What kind of lift did that special teams turnover give the team?
I think it all kind of played into what we were doing defensively and offensively, and it gave us a huge lift because it all goes right with the tempo, where you just heard all three of them talk about how we go really, really fast on offense, and it's really hard to adjust to that. So we had just gone down and scored, and that defense had been on the sideline with the Framingham coaches for 30 seconds. So for us to rip that ball out and get it right back, they didn't have a chance to make any adjustments. All those kids were gassed. I was actually coaching defense that year, but I remember being excited because thinking, hey, this is a really good shot for it to be 13 or 14-0. Because there's just no way they're going to have an opportunity to fix any of the issues they just had or catch their breaths. And we're just going to go right back out there and pound the rock again. So I was definitely, really excited that we ripped that ball out, and it was awesome to see, what happened pretty quickly on that next drive.
Is a plus advantage in the special teams game.
Here's Corey Burnham, and Corey's off to a good start running the football in this. He rips off another 5 yards for UMass Dartmouth.
Another consequence of the turnover is you have no time to go over any corrections over on the bench there. They need to have a diagram for them what Burnham's fake looks like, because they keep falling for it.
And here's Sheridan, and Sheridan cracks down inside the 30, down at about the 27-yard line where he's tackled there. Sven Jacobson, the tackler. And this is going to be about a half a ball short of the first. Now they're saying, let's move the chains. 1st and 10 for the Corsairs. And here's Sheridan again, and he's got another solid run. Aaron Owens Jr. on the stop for Framingham State. But John, it's 5 and 6 yards every time they give it to you, whether it's Burnham or one of the backs. Framingham State can't stop them.
That's exactly right. And they're doing it between the tackles as well, which is a very good sign for this offensive line.
2nd down and 6. Here's Stephen Roy. Has the only score in this ball game as he gets it down to the 20-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short of that 1st down. So it'll bring up 3rd down and short. Marchette on the tackle for Framingham. Mike Slaughter in the game now. And here's Stephen Roy looking for the corner. Roy's got the 1st down as he's hauled down there. Chris Dagg making the tackle for Framingham, but another 1st down.
And something we've consistently seen and liked is there's only so many carries to go around with all these talented running backs, but they're not competing with one another. Mike Slaughter, who very easily could be getting all these carries, throws a block like a fullback on that play to spring it for 1st down.
Here's Burnham off the ball fake, and Corey is down inside the 1-yard line.
He kind of fell in the way you would if you were scoring a touchdown, but you saw he just didn't hit the blue paint. So the Corsairs are celebrating, but he just didn't quite make it. Tremendous play, though. Again, Burnham has gone right between the hash marks just about whenever he's wanted to. And
it's Sheridan on the 1st down carry. John, doing the color for a UMass Dartmouth football game, if you get paid by the word, you wouldn't have much of a pay at the end of the game. They run their play so quickly, it's tough to analyze what the viewer at home just saw. Burnham looking back to the bench.
This is one of very few times that he's consulted with the sideline. He's been pretty much rolling with the script so far.
2nd down and goal here for UMass Dartmouth. Roy and Slaughter are your runners. That's Roy in motion, takes the pitch. Stephen looking for the end zone. He walks in for the 2nd score of the game.
Now it's Chris Dagg, who he just faked out of his shoes on the outside. Watch Dagg, number 13, has the opportunity to make an open field tackle, just has to break down and wrap him up. Roy just gives him the inside juke, and Dagg just cement feet. Touchdown Corsairs, yes, exactly. The Matador defense, as they call it.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
What's that Notre Dame game today? Their defense still is not very good. High snap. Trask rides it up, and this time he gets it through.
How much confidence did those 2 quick touchdowns give your team?
One of the things, and Coach had said this, and I don't know if it was this year or definitely going into next season, was like you have to kind of believe before you can win. And I think this team, although the record, didn't turn out the way they wanted to, they were the first team to kind of instill in our program that we can beat these teams. And when you're playing Framingham, you're ready. They're going to get your best shot because your team knows if you're not ready, you're going to get blown out. And to be up early gave us the confidence to say, hey, we're just as good, if not better, than this football team. So let's finish the job, which was cool.
Now, as we head into the second quarter, you'll see Framingham State makes a change at quarterback as Adam Wojcinski enters the contest. Wojcinski sparks the Rams offense by leading them right down the field. We'll pick up the coverage with Framingham State facing a 3rd and goal from the Corsair 15.
For a hit on a guy that doesn't have the ball.
2nd and goal from the 7. Is off late. He's being chased down. He's going to lose a few. And that's Louis Petrella coming across to make the tackle for UMD, along with Marvy Methuen.
Methuen's just got such an incredible combination of speed and size for this level that he's able to fill this gap so quickly and break through on a play that really you can be carrying it and not necessarily know where he is, and then all of a sudden he's underneath your knees taking you down, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
So the UMass Dartmouth defense digging in now. 3rd and goal from the 15. Wojcinski, the backup quarterback. Throws, end zone. Is it caught? Yes, Bain comes down with it. Touchdown, Framingham from the 15-yard line.
What were some of the challenges Wojcinski presented to your defense?
Well, we didn't know much about him. I think he's a freshman that year. So, he came in, and what was noticeable was his ability to run the ball. The kid before him, wasn't as mobile as this kid was, So he brought in QB run game plays, which is something that we didn't practice against much all week. So that was a big deal. And then, he was able to get outside the pocket and, extend plays and make us cover longer. So he presents that challenge as well. With him being a freshman, though, we thought we could maybe, hold some disguises and bring some pressures and maybe confuse him into some mistakes. So that's what you want to take advantage of, that inexperience as a freshman. But he was way more mobile, than the other guy. So he presented some challenges that way.
LaRose sacks Wojcinski on 3rd down to stall the Rams' drive. Framingham State pins the Corsairs inside the 2 and forces a 3-and-out.
I think Miller's going to be a big part of the defensive conversation when the Corsairs get back into the trip at halftime, because they've got to figure out some new and unusual ways to guard him, because he's eating them alive right now. Even when he's not making the catches, he's available and he's in space, and it's going to catch up to them eventually.
Wojcinski. Here comes the rush, and they're going to get him down. And that's LaRose, Anthony LaRose coming across, and there's a good look at Anthony. That's a big stop by the Corsair defense.
And LaRose will get the credit for the sack, and rightfully so, as he makes the play, but equally responsible for that sack happening is Brandon Miller coming off the edge with the big rush. What Miller was able to do is he's able to attract the attention of the left tackle, who's supposed to have a blocking responsibility to the inside on LaRose, but he sees, as you watch number 40 coming through like a bat out of hell here, that takes the tackle off of his blocking assignment, and then it's just slim pickings for LaRose. He comes in and gets himself an easy sack. So great job by both of them. They could get the ball again with another chance to score by the time the half's out.
Tupper back deep. Here comes the rush. And it's another fine kick for Framingham, and they're going to down it perhaps. Do they do? Let's see.
No, but it went out of bounds. They're lucking out.
Yes.
6 ways to Sunday with these punts right now.
But our offensive goal whenever we're backed up is to get 2 first downs. Like, we're like, hey, we got to get 2 first downs to flip the field. We didn't do that, obviously, because we were in a 3-and-out situation. But whenever you're backed up, that's what we're trying to do, because we don't want to allow them to get the ball right back. And in bad weather, who knows where the punt's going to go. So that's obviously our main objective anytime we're backed up is to get 2 first downs. We feel like if we can do that, it's a successful drive. Everyone, I think, thinks you got to score points every time, and obviously that's the goal. But there's also field position issues, and that's what we try to teach our kids.
As Wright is back deep for Framingham. Stands at his own 45. High snap, no rush. Nice high kick down here at the 45, no return. Nice kick by Wadsworth. Framingham will have good field position, but perhaps thinking they could get a return on that kick, and Kevin got that ball high. Plus that wind is coming toward the UMass Dartmouth bench, and the return man had a tough time looking into the lights trying to gauge that football. So all said and done, Framingham has it 1st and 10 from just inside the UMass Dartmouth 45-yard line. Here's Wojcinski again. He's going to throw it down the near sideline. Had a man open momentarily. That's Colicchio, and he overthrew him.
Something we've seen both quarterbacks struggle with is where they're placing the ball width-wise when they make these outside throws. You had a touchdown there if you could have hit it, but the throw was wide, not out of bounds.
And for those of you who don't know where North Dartmouth is, we're just a couple of miles from the ocean, and we get the ocean breeze here, and now the wind has decided to calm down. So all you boaters out there, you're feeling good about it. Here's a quarterback draw. Wojcinski, he's got plenty of running room. He's got the 1st and more. He's down inside the 25 and down to the 21-yard line. Brandon Miller caught him from behind.
And remember, the clock stops long enough for them to set the sticks, which is yet to happen. So they can either quickly get into another play or they can spike it and conserve a lot of clock that way.
Wojcinski's done a great job since he's come in at the quarterback spot. Here he is again. Good time. He's going for the home run ball in the corner. It's caught, but he's out of bounds across the boundary. Colicchio making the grab, and there's a flag down as well.
Well, if there is, it's a good penalty to take because it probably prevented a touchdown. This is another throw that's just out too far, too wide to the sideline. If it's somewhere he can go get it, it's a touchdown.
UMass Dartmouth is actually applauding this, so
maybe
let's
it's
see.
an offensive push-off pass interference on the offense is often the
Pass
case.
interference, offense number 3, 15-yard penalty, repeat, 1st down.
That's another one of those quirks. The differences between the college game and the pro game is in the NFL, that's only a 10-yard penalty. In college, offensive pass interference is a 15-yard penalty, so that really stings. But yeah, hard to argue with that.
First of all, he's out of bounds, so they shouldn't call it, but that's okay. If you're coaching, you just say, you got to be kidding me. Everybody has a right to the football. Here's Offley. He's looking for running room. He hurdles a man and going to be taken down.
We thought he was going to do that earlier a couple series ago, remember? And so he definitely, I think I was right that first time. That's exactly what he had in mind. So he's trying to find his way to the sideline. Remember, they've got no timeouts, so really a terrible play call given the situation and the down and distances. That's cost them about a third of the time they had left on the clock, and they're not in field goal range either.
Look for Miller here. Wojcinski's got time, now rolls to the near side. Now he throws, end zone, overthrows his man. Anthony Smith was out there, but the pass was just overthrown, so.
Smith had snuck in behind the defender, Jim. If he could have put just a little more air under that ball and let him chase it down in the back of the end zone, that's another one that could have been a touchdown. Corsairs have got to tighten up their coverages here at halftime.
That was a big offensive pass interference call.
Sure was. So now you've got only the 7 seconds left. So with no timeouts, really all you can do is throw a Hail Mary for the end zone with 32 seconds left. Really no other alternative. Any chance of a field goal is completely out of the equation. You just don't have the ticks.
Wojcinski. He's got time. High throw to the corner. Miller's back there, and it's knocked down by UMass Dartmouth down there at the goal line. So that'll end the first half here from Cressy. Framingham State 2-0 in the conference. They're the conference favorites, having a tough time with the Corsairs of UMass Dartmouth. Our score at the half, UMD 13, Framingham State 7.
How important was that defensive stand to close out the half?
Any red zone stop is huge, you know, and we put a focus on it. We practice it. We have a whole segment each day for it. So, you know, our goal is to hold them to a field goal attempt, you know, when they get into the red zone. So for us to get out of that situation, giving up not even a field goal attempt, giving up no points at all, I think was huge and gave us some momentum going into the half and getting the kids believing.
Did you feel like you were in good position after the first two quarters?
we were in a similar situation the year before with Framingham. And that we needed to believe and we needed to finish this game, that we were every bit as good, if not better than they are talent-wise. It's just that Framingham had been so successful, they weren't panicking. They know how to win, and that we needed to take that next step to get us with that mindset, to keep attacking, to keep making big plays, to keep doing what we were doing, and put them away.
Were there any adjustments to the game plan as you got ready to head back outside for the second half?
Well, Steve and Josh do such a great job with that, as does the rest of the staff. The guys that are up in the booth, the guys that are on the field, the guys that are charting, what we're doing and what Framingham was doing, and they come in at halftime and make some suggestions. That's all the staff. Basically I'm worried about how many minutes we have to get back on the field, and what I'm going to say right before we go back out there. So these guys, again, continue to just do an outstanding job making the adjustments at halftime that we need to do.
As well, if you're viewing in live on the internet, 1st and 10, UMass Dartmouth, and they run it here on 1st down, and all game long they've done a great job of just chewing up yardage. Eddie Sheridan out for 9.
It's a good adjustment by Sheridan. Remember, it was a similar play where he fumbled. He was carrying a defender on his back, and the longer he was up, the more it gave him an opportunity. And that time he made sure he had the ball pretty well smothered so that it didn't come out. And they've called an official's whistle. There's an official timeout already, a ram down on this very first snap of the second half.
Well, actually, John, they're going to give him a gain of 10 where they attend the injured player. They've moved the sticks across the far sideline. So UMass Dartmouth, just one play here in the second half, but pretty much what they did in the entire first quarter. The second quarter, Framingham State seemed to do a little bit better job, although UMass Dartmouth shot themselves in the foot a couple of times. But the defense for Framingham was much better in the second quarter.
Yeah, and the stat that we didn't get to, Jim, was penalties, and the penalties really hurt the Corsairs. We commented on that as it happened. 8 penalties in the first half for 78 yards compared to only 4 for 54 over on the Framingham side. So that really hurt them. And the old Bill Parcells adage on that was 100 yards worth of penalties is a touchdown. Getting right up into that territory right now if you're UMD at 78.
Sven Jacobson, outstanding linebacker, was the injured player. And here comes UMass Dartmouth running right at him again on 1st down. That's Eddie Sheridan. Another big gain in the first.
Does seem like they've been stronger to the right side of their line today, and that's how they've gone with their first 2 plays. And boy, are they quick to get back up to the line.
Here's Burnham off the ball fake. Corey looking for the 1st down marker across the sideline. I think he's got himself very close. A gain of 8. They're going to mark him out just a bit short.
It's funny how you keep your balance running with the ball and how your little things that make you an individual really contribute. I think if he were left-handed and could have gotten that ball on the outside, he could have really sprinted and turned that corner.
Here's Slaughter, and Slaughter's going to be very close. Still trying to pick up the yards as he's down on the ground. They're going to mark him about a yard short. So it'll be 3rd down now. We look on at the crowd here at Cressy. Light mist in the air now.
It's actually not bad. I was outside a little during halftime. It's really not cold. It's still hanging in at 60.
Well, you're kind of young, so. Here's Mike Roy, and Roy's got himself a 1st down. So they, on this series alone, they've had Slaughter, Sheridan, and now Roy, and they just keep rotating him, and they just keep getting huge chunks of yards and moving the football on their first series of downs to start the second half. They're inside the Framingham State 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Corsairs. And they run it to the left this time, and that's Slaughter. And
Turf Monster got him.
Yep, Slaughter tripped up by the hash mark. Gain of 9.
Good late blocks downfield. Sullivan picked one up. Bambos was involved, and I think one more step, one more good plant on the ground, they've been able to take that back the other way.
Burnham off the ball fakes. Got time, throws, got a man. Touchdown. There's also a flag down as well. That's Stephen Roy on the reception, but this may be coming back.
When somebody's that wide open, there's usually a reason why, and it's usually naughty. So we'll find out what's going on here. Not a lot of celebration on the UMD side, that's for sure.
Pass interference, offense number 4. 15-yard penalty, repeat.
So
Second
Bambos
down.
gets whistled for the infraction. They'll take the 6 points off the Cressy Field scoreboard, and they'll mark the ball back here at the 39. Where are they going to mark this thing? At the 41-yard line.
So you add 15 to that penalty total. You're up to 93 now. And that one, at least theoretically, takes 6 points off the board. Also takes you out of that great rhythm that you had, doing really whatever you wanted to this Framingham defense the whole trip downfield.
Second down, 17. And they run it again, no problem. This is Sheridan, and Sheridan is down inside the 15-yard line. Harris finally making the stop. No need to throw the football. They can't stop the run.
They certainly can't. It's amazing what they're doing just between, forget the tackles, the guards. I mean, this is just right down your throat. These are 0 and 2 holes that they're exploiting.
And this is Slaughter, and Slaughter's going to take it in. Too easy. From 18 yards out goes Mike Slaughter.
Well, why would you ever throw the ball when you can run it like that? Corsairs just came out and dominated up front that entire series. Responded to the challenge they got in the halftime locker room, I'm sure. Great seal on the outside by Sullivan.
Josh, did the Framingham defense do anything differently on that first series in the second half, or were they doing more of the same of what you'd seen before?
More of the same, to be honest with you. One thing about playing good defense is, and Framingham always has one of the best, is they're not going to change. They're going to kind of do what they do and just try to do it better. So to start the half, we were against the same quarters too high look that they were playing the majority of the game. And what I remember is our kids kind of came in and we were like, listen, they're not stopping us. If you look at the game, we either had a penalty or a turnover. So although we only had 13 points, they were really confident. So we just told them, if you just play mistake-free football, you'll have success. And they went out there again, and it was great to see them just go down the field and punch that in. It was a lot of senior leadership on that team, which was great.
Offlead, the lone runner. He's going to take it right up the gut. UMass Dartmouth has him bottled up. Maybe a yard if you were lucky. Interior of that UMD defense. Tony Slaughter in there for the Corsairs. Second down now and goal. They've done a nice job in checking Offlead this afternoon, John.
They certainly have, and I think that's why Wright got the touch that he got.
So Wojcinski brings him out on this second down and goal. High snap. Wojcinski's going to keep it, and UMass Dartmouth's ready for that, and they stall him again.
They weren't just ready. They were waiting as they were able to completely establish the line of scrimmage again behind the play, which is every defensive line coach's dream. You just had 4 Navy jerseys across at the 5-yard line waiting on the keeper there. Wojcinski really didn't fake anybody out.
Zach Rodricks off the bottom of the pile for the Corsairs. As we approach the 9-minute mark, it's a big drive here for Framingham State. Third down and goal.
Field goal would keep it at 2 scores. So if the Corsairs could get a stop here and make Framingham settle for 3, that'd be a big win for them.
Here's Offley looking for the cone. He's not going to get it. UMass Dartmouth gets him to the ground. And that was Louis Petrella was the first guy to get hold of him. Boy, the play calling by Framingham State, sometimes you just scratch your head.
Absolutely, and now this is the first time they've been tested in this situation. They are changing personnel, so it's like they're going to put a kicker on for a field goal. And we'll see if they go through with that or not.
Fourth down.
It's down by 2 touchdowns here. This is high time for a fake if they've got one in on a slick day, not good kicking conditions.
Rivers on to it. Attempt it. It's deflected. No points for Framingham. big defensive stand by the Corsairs.
I'd say this has been kind of the flip side of the coin. We talk about the Corsairs missing extra points all the time. They've also had a knack for getting blocks in their home games, as that comes right up the middle. And I believe it was that tackle that breaks through.
Ryan, this is the second big special teams play of the game. Was this a special point of emphasis during the week preparing for the Rams that you might be able to go get a block?
As you're asking the question, I'm kind of trying to go back and forth about how I'm going to answer it. I could either tell you that, I saw a nice kind of chink in the armor and we really went after it to get the block. Or I can tell you the truth, which is that even though I do all the special teams, Coach FANIEL runs field goal block. So if you want to go to one of the other games that year and pull up a pump block, I can tell you all about how we diagrammed that one up. But the field goal blocks are actually Coach FANIEL's. And
I need a moment of honesty and clarity here for the fans that are watching, and realize that Coach ROBICHAUD, after this year, was like, listen, we need to diagram an actual field goal block. Because Stevie's looking at this camera right now, and he knows he'd be like, listen, go and get the ball. Marvy was 7'9". I mean, he was an absolute animal. We used to call him go gadget arms because he'd just go up there and pick the ball off all the time and during camp. And he had to block 6 kicks that year. I feel like they changed the rule and just call them flags all the time. So the honest answer to that is the players went out there and blocked it, but we can give Struthers some positive press here. The players watching it know the truth.
Now for Framingham State. UMass Dartmouth looking to chase the quarterback, and they give him a shot, and they have to be very careful. I think it was Marty Methuen.
Yeah, that's a textbook intentional grounding. No flag for that. He's running for his life backwards inside the tackles, just throws the ball, doesn't have a receiver on that half of the field. But that's no problem.
2nd down and 10 now for Framingham. Might be chilly on the field, but it's hot along the UMass Dartmouth sideline and up here in the press box. 2nd down and 10. Just over 5 to play in the 3rd. Here's Wojcinski. Here's the rush. Throws it way down here to the near sideline, and it's picked off by UMass Dartmouth. That's Trent Barney.
Steve, the Corsairs at this point were winning the turnover battle with this latest interception. Did you feel like the defense was gaining momentum?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more the team than the defense. Again, the offense was rolling that day. They're running the football with great success, and the tempo, you can see, them kind of panicking on the sideline, yelling at each other and doing certain things. So basically, we just want to get the offense back on the field as quick as possible. And we just want to keep on wearing them down. And so I think more of the overall game plan, again, the turnovers were huge to the overall game plan and just getting as many possessions as we possibly can, staying aggressive. And but always turnovers are a big part of the game. And we're fortunate enough to trick that freshman into a pick.
And then, Coach, can you talk about the journey for Trent Barney, starting out, coming to campus as a quarterback, and then really finding a home on your defense?
He was a tremendous athlete, and that's what we want on defense. We really want 11 athletes out there running around and being able to make plays. We were a 2 quarterback system. We went to a 1 quarterback system. So, I went to Josh and I begged him for Trent, and Josh ended up giving them to us, and he made a lot of plays for us. And we kind of had a 3-man rotation that year at cornerback, and they all did a great job. And we put a lot of pressure on these corners. We don't play off coverage. We're in your face. And against those Framingham receivers, it's tough to get up in their face and challenge them because they have such tremendous athletes over there. But, that's the philosophy that we do. And, Trent did a great job with it.
To be recruited as a quarterback and come in, and obviously Corey was having a tremendous year, and I think the year before that kind of just took the job. So it speaks to Trent's unselfishness and really that whole character of that team. I feel like they all just did a great job of it's not like Eddie Sheridan could be the greatest running back to ever play in MASCAC, period. And Mike Slaughter could be the same, 2,000-yard rushers. And those guys were just so unselfish. It was really a great team to be around because they only cared about doing it was. And Trent's just another example of that. When you're a quarterback, it's a difficult thing to swallow, and he did it and excelled at it, which was awesome.
thank the fine folks in the athletic department here at the university, and of course the production done by DCTV Channel 9 in the town of Dartmouth, where this great university is located.
Give a lot of credit there to Ryan Struthers, the special teams coach. All four of the down men on that punt rush for the Corsairs just jumped straight up. No risk of taking a roughing flag there.
So penalty on that run play. That was Sheridan, the ball carrier.
Corsairs have to be careful here. You've got the points you need to win the game. You need to be able to run for first downs
Holding,
and run
offense,
for clock.
number 57. Half the distance of the goal, repeat, first down.
And these are the kinds of plays that are going to force you into passing situations you don't want to be in, which is the one thing you just can't have in this situation. You want to be able to stack the deck against Framingham on the scoreboard. You've got the 2-score lead, and the less clock there is, the bigger that lead effectively becomes. So you want to get that clock winding. You want to keep it moving at all costs. You want to be able to continue with running plays. And you just can't afford to be in the 1st and 18s like they are right now.
They're just looking for.
I don't think they got a reset on that play clock. It's down to 5.
This is Slaughter. Slaughter's got running room. Breaks through. Slaughter's still on his feet. Look out. He may go. They're not going to catch him. He's going to go down and in for the touchdown. And that is a backbreaker for Framingham State College.
There's a flag on the play, as it looked like somebody threw an elbow toward the end of the play. Mike Slaughter just can't handle us talking nice about his brother. Take a look at Slaughter. This went from the 8, not the 18. They needed 18 to go, so that means he takes it 92 up the gut. Huge block there by Roy to spring Slaughter free. Slaughter's looking over both shoulders, but he had a convoy. He had Bambos behind him, so that allows him to get in. And I think he threw that ball before he was across the goal line. I don't think we have a shot from that end zone, but.
Mike Slaughter's 92-yard touchdown run is the 3rd longest run from scrimmage in the history of the Corsair program, and it put UMass Dartmouth ahead 27-7. What does an explosive play like that do for the confidence of this team?
It's outstanding, especially in a game like that where it's so important and such a big game. And Mike is was a great player, a great leader. Stayed with us and coached for a couple years. Just worked so hard in the weight room, and had great vision. And so we loved him. The team loved him, and that was a huge play. Got us fired up.
Now, even though you're up 20 points, in the back of your mind Framingham can explode in a hurry on offense. What are you trying to do in the final 11 minutes to keep them under wraps?
When Mike went for that explosive play, I think we kind of went into prevent mode, and we just wanted to, keep them from getting the explosive plays. And, we kind of got past it when we lost our aggressiveness a little bit. And, it kind of bit us. So, I'll never make that mistake again. And I think, again, we learned a ton from that game. Really, we're just trying not to cough it up, and we're terrified of the big play, and we're terrified of the explosive because they're so athletic. So, we're backing up, and we're losing our aggressiveness. And it didn't necessarily work out the way we wanted it to.
Offensively, we just stopped playing offense. I mean, we were so terrified. I think we played the clock versus the opponent. So it's just one of those things that we all know. I think if you watch us play now, we kind of go until coach says, put the 2s in. And we just don't take our foot off the gas at all.
Framingham State gets the first score quick, responding with a 6-play, 59-yard touchdown drive. The Rams then force a 3-and-out and regain possession again at their own 20-yard line.
I'm at 3:52 remaining in the ball game.
And a field goal does you no good at all for Framingham, down by 2 touchdowns. You need 6.
Wojcinski to Wright. Wright cuts it back inside, and he is down and in for a Ram touchdown with 3:47 to go. And
the offense was able to pick up a few first downs and force Framingham State to call 2 of their timeouts. However, Corsairs were unable to completely run out the clock. We'll pick up the action coming out of the UMass timeout with 28 seconds left on the clock.
their instructions.
They do have a return man back, and interestingly, it's Miller who made the big play on the catch. We haven't seen him return kicks tonight, but he's back there to return this punt. He could certainly make something wild happen if he gets the ball in his hands.
Looking for the best athlete to get the ball. Here's the rush, no block. Miller botches it, picks it up. And Miller on the return gets it across the 20-25. He's got running room. He's at the 40-45. Look out! He may take it to the house! You got to be kidding me! Touchdown Framingham! And they're a point away from tying it up.
Does it count? He does the front flip into the end zone.
That's a touchdown, John. But
he scored, but I don't know if he'll be awarded the points because he flipped before he scored. Now, the fumble actually helps return men a lot of times because it causes over pursuit. And he very nearly fell twice there, but bobbling the ball really helped him because it let him slip past the kick coverage. We'll see. It all comes down to whether or not the touchdown counts because he goes into that front flip before he's in the end zone.
No, that's a touchdown. He crossed the goal line and flipped, and then they threw the flag.
PAT puts the ball at the 3, and you essentially have a 20-yard kick for an extra point. Now you're taking that, you're making it 35. So it's like a game-winning field goal. And remember, this would only tie the game,
right?
Because they missed on the last one.
Good snap. Kick is on its way, and the kick is good. It's tied up at 27. Are you kidding me with 6 seconds left on the stadium clock?
So a big hitter there in special teams going the other way now with just a couple seconds left in regulation. Were there any lessons learned there that you were able to apply the rest of the game?
That punt is the stuff of nightmares. Steve, you just talked about learning something from this game. We all learned in that situation to kick the damn ball out of bounds and not give them a chance to return it. I basically blame Coach Struthers, but that was just, it's such a bad job on my part, especially not to take care of that ball, get it out of bounds, and make them work much harder to come back in.
Once they return that kick, they got a celebration penalty. And I want to say Framingham State had a freshman kicker. So I'm sitting there like, well, I kind of want to jump off this booth right now. But if the freshman kicker misses this PAT, then everything's forgotten. And then the kid just right down the middle, perfect, beautiful, looked like a young Guskowski. And it was just like, no, you're going to overtime. We're not missing this.
So the Rams have now come all the way back to tie the game and force overtime. Is there time to put together some thoughts for the team? What do you say to the team getting ready to go into overtime?
Just to stay focused, realize, how talented they were and that they could win this, that we just needed to do our own jobs and, again, just stay focused and do what we needed to do.
UMass Dartmouth wins the coin toss and elects to defend first. And after a pass interference call, they're set up with 1st and goal from the 9-yard line.
Because they're really throwing for a penalty in a situation like that, trying to get the flag, and he gave it to them.
1st and goal from the 9. There's Wright. Wright's cracked down inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line.
And Wright's being small paid off again there because he was able to roll on top of a defender for a couple more yards. As you see, he gets wrapped up, but then he's able to spin over a blue jersey and pick up some extra yardage where a bigger guy would have his knee on the ground in the process of that.
2nd down and 3 from the 3.
There's also no clock in overtime. I should have pointed that out as well.
Wright stands to the right of Wojcinski. He's running to the left is Wright. Bounces it to the outside. He's going to go in for the touchdown. Untouched. So in overtime, they get the ball and they march it in and take the lead at 33-27. Sean St. Marie now will come in to attempt the point after. We'll look on.
Really just no contest. Wright extends the play down the line. Nobody gets wide. And he just walks in. First lead of the entire game for
runners. First and 10 UMass Dartmouth, their first crack at it here in OT. And Sheridan out for a couple. That's it. Aaron Owens on the tackle.
Sheridan had lost his footing already as he was approaching the contact. Picks up only 1 yard on the play.
Mike Slaughter now in at one of the running back spots. Wears uniform number 1. Stephen Roy in there as well. Burnham looking. Far corner, throws it out there. Caught, touchdown! Bambos.
He's just been laying in the weeds all night, hasn't he? This rushing attack has been getting it done all night long. Bambos has just been waiting and waiting and waiting for his chance. Had an opportunity to get position, probably pushed off there, didn't get called, but he goes down and makes the grab in the end zone, and that's the important thing. And Framingham rather limited.
So, Coach, there weren't a whole lot of pass plays on your chart that day. You were running it so well, but when you had to have a play, you go through the air to get it to Bambos. Hadn't called his name a lot during the day. What did you see? How did you know you might be able to hit that one with the game on the line?
In that fourth quarter where we kind of stopped playing offense, we saw that it was there because they had to make a major adjustment on defense to stop the run. But we just didn't have the fortitude, I guess, to call it because we were just playing against the clock. Now it's a totally different situation. So now we're like, we have to score, and they were coming on the same look because they just could not stop the run. So we knew at that point in time they were giving, probably the greatest receiver we've ever had, has every record, Abby, one-on-one coverage, and we're always going to take Abby in one-on-one coverage. Doesn't matter what team we're playing. So I don't know if it was a setup. We were just kind of sitting there in the headset, and everyone was just like, listen, we're getting single man by Abby, and we were just going to take the shot. And he did what he does, him and Corey.
So it's one of the boldest calls you can make to decide to put the entire game on the line, down 1 when you could just tie it. Was that something you talked about with the rest of the coaches before the game, or is that just a gut decision you've got to make in the moment?
Decisions are generally staff decisions. Steve and Josh and I get together and with input, try to figure out what we're going to do. And those two, again, do a great job with those things. They think very well on their feet and, very good situationally. So, we get together and thought, hey, let's do it now, so.
I think this flow of the games, I think Coach hit the nail on the head. We have a great staff in terms of our openness and ability to be honest with each other. And I honestly don't really remember, but I think FANIEL was like, go for 2 and win it. I remember hearing that somehow through it. And Coach is always so willing to let us be aggressive and let us kind of do our thing, and always believes in us to be able to make the play, which is great to work for and great to play for. So, no, I don't think you go into a game saying, hey, if it comes down to a 1-possession game, we're going to go for 2 to win it in overtime. But we had practiced our 2-point plays the entire season for the moment. So definitely was prepared for it.
Okay, so the Corsairs come out of the timeout. They show a formation with some motion pre-snap, but then Framingham State calls timeout. So now you're back over at the sidelines again. Coach, any second thoughts after they call their timeout? Do you make any adjustments to what you initially had called on the field?
Play call that we had worked all year. So we went on for PAT. We called timeout. Then we sent the play in that we had worked the whole time, our 2-point play on our script. And then they called timeout. So they kind of see this little weird motion and whatnot. And it was amazing to see because we had this reverse in our back pocket. We practice it every single week. And again, it's just one of those things where sometimes you're not ready to call it. And I was just like, hey, I think we should call this reverse. And Coach was just like, run it. And I think Struthers was on defense standing next to me. He was like, run the reverse. And then Borden, who's not on this call, everyone knows him. He's like, run the freaking reverse. So it's like crazy because we all were on page. And then when you send a play call in like that to the kids, like they just get fired up. I remember seeing like Matt Clement, who didn't even play a snap in that game, just like slapping helmets and so ready. And I was like, they're going to give away that we're running a reverse before we even run the play. And the benefit is you're giving it to, an explosive player. So I think that was really the only adjustment. So once everyone was on board, we called it.
Okay.
Slaughter and Roy will be the runners. Slaughter wears number 1. Stephen Roy to the left. Burnham, 11, is the quarterback.
Not a kicker to be seen.
Everybody on one knee in the UMass Dartmouth sideline. Burnham. Trick play. Is he gonna make it? He's gonna make it! UMass Dartmouth wins it!
Yes!
That's Bambos! On a little trickery. And UMass Dartmouth is knocked off the kingpins of the conference. And it's been a decade and a half since they defeated Framingham State. In one of the best games we've seen here at Cressy in a long time.
There you go. Couldn't have asked for any better, right? Did you see anything reviewing film during the week or maybe in the game that showed you that Framingham State might be vulnerable to over pursuing on a reverse play like that?
We had known, most of the kids in their team, we recruit and lose them sometimes, and we win some. But they had a freshman defensive end from Wareham, who's from our town, who's a great player. He's been killing us for 4 years now. But he was a freshman. So we always knew that if we were running the reverse, we were running it into a freshman. And most of the time in big moments, freshmen just black out and just play to their athletic ability. So we knew that we can get him matched up on it. And when you run for like 450 yards, they're going to start to sink. So we thought it was a pretty good play. And actually, if you watch the play, the block that made the play work was from Corey. So you look at the unselfishness, and it's like your quarterback. The quarterback blocked a linebacker that really set the play, and he knew that was the block he had to have. But if you know Corey Burnham, like, the kid's a gamer, he's tough as nails, and he was all about it. So, yeah, I think we knew we had it, but we thought we'd run it in the game, but never did. Happy we didn't.
And then how important was it to get Abby, your big playmaker, in open space and giving him a chance to make that play?
It's the philosophy of the offense. Like, we try to give guys one-on-ones in space, and that year we had tremendous athletes everywhere. But Abby's a big play guy. He had already made the catch. And probably a frustrating game for him too, because we ran the ball a million times and he didn't get his normal production or targets. But, if you give me Abby Bambos with the ball to win the game, I'll take that 100% of the time, every day and Sunday.
And then just take us back to that moment. You had the call, the play looked good on the field. It must have looked good in practice during the week too. But when you finally see Abby go across the goal line, what do you remember right after that?
It was awesome. If you watch it on film, you watch Coach Struthers almost kill himself jumping up and down and jumping on everybody and chest bumping. And it was just such a great, great feeling. So you don't get enough of those, in this profession a lot of times. And so, we really enjoyed that one.
If you want to watch the film, my favorite moment, I'm just going to add it in there. You'll see Coach FANIEL doing the ultimate warrior on the fence. And for those who are old enough, just absolutely just going crazy on the fence. And that's something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. It was great.
Everybody remembers how it ends, but you were in position to win this game, Coach, because of the work put in by your offensive line right from the very beginning and all the way through. What about that performance do you remember from your guys up front?
With Pat Sullivan and who, got, all the recognition, but Antonio Mitchell's just outstanding, and Jared Stokes and that whole line all year. They worked together so well. They communicated so well. The running backs had such confidence in them. Corey had confidence. So that was fun. It was fun to have an offensive line like that. And it doesn't happen very often. So they were just outstanding.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about that team. They're all amazing kids, and they're all adults now, and they're doing big things in life, which is great to see. But that offensive line was insane. Obviously, Pat Sullivan, All-American, great player. He gets a lot of the press, and he deserves it. But Austin Peters, Mitchens was, I think, a sophomore maybe that year, maybe a freshman or sophomore, and we all know he was a two-time All-MASCAC Offensive Player of the Year. And really, the guy who didn't get a lot of love, who played out of his mind that entire season, was Jared Stokes. I mean, I think he was probably one of our best linemen, if not the best lineman his senior year. And then you lost Stokes after the second drive. A lot of people don't know that. Like, those first two drives, we kind of went through them, not easily, but we got a really good two drives. He went and scored, and he was suffering from the flu. And he was, like, thrown up on the sideline, and unfortunately the trainers kept him out. So BK had to go in there. And not that BK wasn't a great player too, but he never saw that much time. So he did a great job going in there. and playing without one of your best linemen, which is a testament to how strong that whole group was, like how deep they were.
And then you celebrate. The excitement of a big victory on homecoming is there for you. When the team finally gathers back around you to celebrate that win, were you able to find the words to put it into perspective, or the emotions just take over in a moment like that?
No, I'm not one for big, post game stuff, but that one was so special. And as usual, it's a huge win, and you really only get about 24 hours to celebrate that and live within that, so it was just telling them how proud that we all were of them and what a great job they did, and that again, you got 24 hours and we're back in and getting ready to move on. So
I agree with everything they said. I think it was a great win for the seniors. That group was special, and we've had a lot of special players since then, but they were the ones I think that really started it for us in the program to put us on the map, and they kind of changed a lot of our culture and let us know. I mean, we've had a lot of battles with Framingham since then. They're always going to be one of the better teams, and I think that this team shows that every year when our kids take the field, we're like, we can play with them.
Thank you for watching this trip down memory lane here on Corsair Classics, a thrilling 35-34 overtime victory for UMass D. And on behalf of everybody here, we'd like to thank you for watching. Also, a special thanks go out to the UMass D coaching staff, as well as everyone in the athletic department for making this presentation possible. And on behalf of everyone here at UMass D, this is John Cabral saying thanks so much for watching. So long, and see you next time.